Hi guys, welcome to a new video. In today's video we are going to be tackling the greenhouse, the tomatoes. I will show you what's going on over here. I'm a little bit ashamed to show you this, but I completely neglected my tomatoes, and so this whole situation has gotten out of hand, overgrown. There's, like, as you can see, I can't enter. I have to crawl underneath the tomatoes there, and so it is way past due that I clean this up and that I take care of this. So I went ahead and I already took care of one plant just so I could see a little bit how I was gonna do this. But so yeah, this one I just did. This one's done, and so I'm going to do this the other tomatoes the exact same way, but I will show you what I did. Let me get in here. So this tomato split about over here. Now preferably tomatoes don't split and you just have one stem of tomato that goes up, but in this case I had two. And as you can see over here, this stem was not on the spiral anymore, and so it broke. It went laying flat, and now there's a bit of like disease on there, but the plant is growing, so I'm just leaving it. Okay, what I did is I took some twine right here, just like this is honestly, it's wool, just some old wool, and I just attached the top of the plant here to my hoop house, to my greenhouse. Sorry for the noise, but Bella wants to play. And I did the same thing over here, because as you can see my spiral ends here and my plant has grown way past the spiral, so I'm just leaving this be. I see that I have to pinch this right here. Okay, so I did that. So the top of the tomatoes I am attaching to this metal part, and then what I also did is I just cut off all the bottom leaves to allow way more airflow to come through here. Because as you can see over there, I do have some tomatoes that are starting to get diseased, and usually disease is caused by a lack of airflow in tomatoes. So I cut a bunch of the leaves off that I didn't think were necessary, the leaves that were against the side of the tunnel, because this gets condensation in the morning, and so that's wetness against the leaves, which again causes disease. So I did that. And now I'm going to do the same thing with all of these other tomatoes. Yeah, this is really bad. Wow, it's just, I can't even see which plant is which. Like, it's a good thing that these Roma tomatoes have a very distinct shape from these heirloom tomatoes, because otherwise I just wouldn't be able to distinguish the plants. But so this right here that you see here, those round tomatoes are all that plant, so they have to go back to their own side, and then I'm gonna cut off a bunch of the leaves, because as you can see, that you can't even look through anymore. So all right, let's go. Wow, what a huge difference, you guys. I am so impressed, and I just see that I missed one little bit. Let me just snip this off with you guys. There we go, now we're done. So I did a very heavy prune, like an extremely heavy prune. On this plant right here, I just cut off all the leaves because they were all diseased. So I decided to just cut it all off. I will see if the plant makes a sucker here at the top. I will just let that one grow up. If not, then I'm just gonna let these tomatoes ripen, and I will be happy with that. Now, one very sad thing is this plant. They are heirloom tomatoes, and this plant is making a bunch of tomatoes. I'm very happy with it, but while I was tying it up, this broke off. Look how many tomatoes these are, you guys, and they are just not at the ripening stage where I will be able to let them ripen inside. They are too small still. I think gonna grab those big ones, put them inside, and just see what they do, but I'm pretty sure that they are not going to ripen for me anymore, so that's very sad. But like I said, this plant has so many tomatoes on there. If you look over there, there's a bunch left, and it's still growing up. so I'm not too worried about that. So yeah, it's just this plant that got a very heavy prune, and then this one as well, because it was just all over the place, just especially here at the top it was a whole situation. So I cut off a bunch of suckers. Like, I really let this go way too far, but I thought I will film it and I will show you guys, because I am sure that I'm not the only one who, you know, does things like this. It's a lot of work to have a garden, and sometimes you just let things overgrow, and then they become so overgrown that it's a very big job to take care of it. But yeah, today I decided it was time to just go ahead, rip off the band-aid, and just take care of all of it at once. So yeah, I cut a bunch of leaves. I have this whole bag full of tomato leaves, and then also just some weeds that were around the edges. I just pulled those as well. But so yeah, now there's way more room for airflow, and I can actually see that there are tomatoes, because I couldn't see the tomatoes before and I thought I didn't have any tomatoes. But I am positively surprised with how many there are actually here, especially the Dolcia over there. It's a yellow tomato. I harvested 2 already. A few days ago I harvested 2 tomatoes off of this plant. It's got quite a few more. This is a bush tomato, so they by definition have fewer tomatoes on there because it's a smaller plant. But so yeah, I'm actually quite happy, and I'm very excited about those heirloom tomatoes. They need a few more days, but that's fine. And then of course these San Marzano Roma tomatoes, or paste tomatoes, however you like to call them. These 3, they are all like for sauce and things. These are very nice. And then I have one of these that I accidentally planted outside, and I have to say it is way further along than those. I will show you the difference. So over here I have those 3, and as you can see, most of these tomatoes are still very small, not even close to coloring up yet. And then I have one outside right there. As you can see, tomatoes on this plant are just way bigger. I have a red one in there already, way bigger, starting to color up. So yeah, this plant is just doing way better, which again I am definitely going to think about putting all of my tomatoes outside next year. I'm actually debating on just taking this whole hoop tunnel out and just utilizing the whole space where it's standing right now, because I think I would be able to fit way more if I don't have to, you know, take into account the whole hoop house situation. I would be able to just plant closer to the side here, closer to the back as well. So yeah, that's something I'm thinking of doing. But of course, it's also just really dependent on how your growing year is. We had a pretty wet spring, but a pretty dry summer so far, which makes that those tomatoes out there are doing pretty well. But maybe next year that's not the case, and then my tomatoes might not do so well. So I'm just going to think about it and decide. But for now, I am really happy with how this is looking. I'm glad I got it all taken care of just in one day. And so now these tomatoes can just continue to grow and hopefully ripen. And hopefully there won't be any more disease issues on there. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye guys!